Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and it's late at night and I haven't done a page yet today. I have, though, printed some photos from the wedding we attended this past weekend. I don't have pictures of the ceremony. There was a professional photographer and my daughter's like, no, we'll get them from the photographer. But of course that takes forever and I don't have them yet. But I have a picture of the groom and his mom, Noelle, his twin sister, Kate, giving her speech, the bride and groom and their half brothers and sisters. Well, that's a twin, and then half brother and sister, and then just Jack. So, I went looking for paper, and Kate is wearing this real pretty green, and the flowers were white with green, and so I thought, let's just lean into that soft palette a little bit. I had a couple of choices, but this is what I've settled on. It's Old Creative Memories, Nancy Odell, Gratitude series. So there are a bunch of photo mats. I don't have a lot of different papers to use for matting and stuff. I mean, for, 12 by 12s and stuff like that. But I do have these two papers. I've pulled out a piece of vellum because I always think that's nice on a wedding page. Let's make sure this is in there, visible. All right, let me move this stuff. So it's going to be very soft palette. Let's see if we can get this lined up a little better. There we go. I think that'll look good. So I will do a little bit of vellum work. I thought this was really pretty to incorporate, so I'm going to add some gold to this. I'm trying to decide if I want to add it before I may add some gold now, and then add some more, a little bit at the end, some extra splatters. So I'm considering that now. I have this distressed spritz, and I could smush it. I have a gold doily, which I'm going to use. I think I'm just going to do splatters. I have this gold fancy frame that I can cut and use. I have a couple of florals. I don't have a lot of white florals. I have two. I have this I Forever Do and Everlasting Love. I think I'm going to do Everlasting Love. And then maybe I save the I Forever Do for the photo of when they're doing their vows, or if we get photos from the professional photographer. So that is going to have to go somewhere else. I don't know where. I also have probably some gold letters that I can use. All right, so I think it's important for them to be on the first page, so I will probably do this, and then yeah, I think that's not bad. Just a little bit of a mirror image. Yeah, I kind of like that. I do have plenty of vellum, so I'll probably do a couple of layers below each photo, and then cut this in half so I can get this in 2 places. Cut this in half so I can get this in 2 places. And then the flowers. So this has a lot of space above it, so I may do something like that. And then maybe layer, I could move this to the other side, but I kind of like it the way it is. We'll see what we can do there. All right. So that's coming together. I've got, some of these are patterned and some are modeled. So let's see, we'll do that one. I don't know if I like this pattern on there, this circles pattern. That's not my favorite, so I think we'll do these, like one light and one dark, and the vellum. All right, so I sped this up because I do a little hemming and hawing around. I'm trying to decide some stuff. So I'm sure I want to use this Endless Love. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with that circle. And I start thinking, well, what if I flip it to the other side of the page, other side of the, you know, the 2-page layout, but you can't have it at the top. It has to be at the bottom. So I don't like that. That makes no sense to me. So I'm moving it back there, and I decide I'll just figure it out later. And indeed I do. It sorts itself out. So back to my plan. I do the matting and stuff off camera. I just simply mat them, trim them up a bit. I don't leave super thick mats, and I ink them with tea dye ink. I wanted something a little softer and light. So I definitely like the title going there-ish. And then sort of spreading those flowers around. Those were the only cream colored flowers. This is from a Tim Holtz packet, and those were the only creamy ones that I had left. I'm going to go ahead and cut this doily in half because I know I want it spread out on the page somewhere. So I think that's going to work, and that is going to work. Well, I'm contemplating there. So I try it in a couple different places, and I end up going back to the first place that I put it. So at this point, none of those things are working for me, so I set them aside. There are a few stickers on here. This is not from this kit, but it is from another one that, a similar color palette, a bit more browns. So I take those circular elements off there. And still not quite loving it, so I'm just going to go off camera and get things matted, and then hope that things speak to me a little bit better. Right now it's just looking a little too everything all over the place. So not quite organized. What I want to do before I'm cutting the edges of this, so that I like torn vellum. So I'm going to do some splattering. So I take my Distress spritz of fossilized amber, which is essentially a gold spritz, and I'm going to I did a little bit of spraying just to get an overall glitter, but it also, you know, you get some big droplets that way as well. And I'm just sprinkling that all over, and that's spreading that gold over the rest of the page, since that's the only foiling is around that one element. All right, so I've gone off, that was and matted everything, and I added a vellum mat to 2 of the photos, one on each side. And I feel like it came together once I had that. And tucking this doily underneath both of those elements, it really helps tie them together, that I don't feel like the title is floating quite as much as it was. And what I decided to do with the circle is to put the date of their wedding on there. I probably could have used some more delicate letters or numbers here, but I'm happy with it. I'm using up stuff that I have. So this was a real stash dive. I've had these papers for a really long time, so I was really happy to make better use of them. That sticker sheet is ancient. I was happy to use that. I've had the Tim Holtz flowers are not that old, maybe 3 years old, but I have had them a while, and they're not always my aesthetic, so I was happy to get them used up too. So here I took that little frame and I put it on another one of those stickers that wasn't quite going to work by itself, but it worked great as a background on that frame. And then I'm just switching out these flowers because I wanted the big one over the couple. So I'm just creating layers, basically, is what I'm doing here. And I decide, once I have all of this done, instead of just writing on the paper, let's add a journaling box to the top right corner, adding a few more sprinkles on top of that title. So I'm just going to create it's about a 3.5 by 4-ish journaling box, and I'm just playing around with the vellum, trying to decide where I want it, and I'm just adding it as sort of a little shadow over the top. Now I'm off looking for some more gold elements, little dots or additional hearts or something like that, and I found some on this Vicky Bouton. So I'm just going to add a couple of little clusters. Of these little dots, and then I moved the heart and just replaced it with the simple dot, and that gave me a third heart to put on the page. And so I think that's it. We're going to do some close-ups now. Please give this video a thumbs up. I love the soft colors, and I was happy to make the first page from the wedding. Just double checking that I have something else. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I do try to post probably 5, sometimes 6 videos a week. Lots of layouts, cards occasionally, organizational videos, embellishment swaps, all sorts of fun paper crafting content. Thanks a lot, you guys.